winner.
Bond's able to catch up with the winner of last year's NAPA SK5K here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Also your first win here at the racetrack in an SK Modified, Marcello Refrano. He's also the most recent winner here at the Speedway. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first off, let's go back a year ago. How big was that win in the division's biggest race?
It was pretty huge. I think from that point on, that's what set our momentum going into the rest of the year and going into this year too. That was like when everything really started to click and gel together really good. And you know, before that, we were just trying to get everything together. You know, a new crew with us and just trying to make everything mesh and gel together well. And that's when it really started clicking. And then from there on, I mean, it's just been lights out. We've been really, really good. Obviously, last week we got reunited back with the old piece, so everything went good from there. So I'm just hoping that we can try and repeat tonight. And, you know, maybe even like you said, beat them by 8 seconds instead of 4. So that would be the plan.
The NAPA SK5K, of course, 80 laps here at the racetrack. A normal night like last Friday where you won 40 laps. How do you manage those races differently from behind the wheel? One being 40, then double the distance here tonight?
Try and attack it a little bit the same, kind of the same mindset that you do with the open 80s. Just kind of save your stuff in the beginning and just take care of it, and then as the race goes on, you just, you know, little by little you start lighting it up. But last year I just kind of carved through the field a little bit, bided my time getting to first, and then you know, just set my own pace. And you know, luckily we were good enough to where we could just, you know, maintain and, you know, pull away from the guys. We didn't really have much of a worry. So I mean, we got a pretty good field here this year. We've got a couple other guys to contend with, and you know, let's see what we can't do. I mean, I got all the confidence in my people and myself, so I feel like if we do everything we're supposed to do, I think we'll be just fine.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
It's Marcello Refrano looking for his second consecutive NAPA SK5K win and his second consecutive win here at the Speedway. Let's go to the other side of the pits and Bonzo with the driver looking for his first win of 2023.
Kyle, one of the good runs from last Friday that kind of maybe went unnoticed was Jonathan Pulio in the 40-lapper. He went from 15th to 7th, and you told me off camera that you felt like if that was the 5K, you would have had to shot to win it. How'd you feel about the car last week?
Oh, it was really good. It's just came on a little too late. You know, it's a lot of ups and downs this year, so just trying to do everything the right way and pick and choose my battles to get back in the handicap. So just finishing the top 10 has been our goal, and now we're in the handicap, so now our season starts.
You talk about up and down. What is it with the first half not going so smoothly, but the second half always going better?
Yeah, I mean, every year I tell my dad, I say, you know, this year we're going to start off good and we're going to have a good year. And then it's just always something, it's always something at the beginning of the year. So I guess we're kind of known to come on the second half of the year, and now it's the halfway point. So now's our time.
You've been pretty solid in the SK5K. How do you approach the race? It's 80 laps. Do you go hard from the beginning? Do you take it easy? What's your thought process without spilling any secrets?
I just try to run it just like any other race. You know, I mean, the 5K, you get a lot more added guys that are really good, and you have a lot of good cars, and hopefully our cars like it's been the last 2 years. I know we broke the first year. We were really good last year. So if we can just have the car we've been bringing, I think we'll be all right.
Have fun today.
Thank you.
That's Jonathan Pulio looking for another good run in the SK Modified as we go to Kyle Rickey with a former winner of the SK5K.
Bonzo with Mike Christopher Jr., who won this NAPA SK5K 2 years ago here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But first, the last month for you, kind of tumultuous here at the racetrack. How hard is it to stay motivated now going into the second half of the season after really getting into two pretty big wrecks here over the last month?
Yeah, I mean, you show up every single Friday, and I guess that's your motivation. Yeah, we've had a rough month. I quit. I put it this way. We had 2 clips sitting on a shelf at the shop for, I think, like 3-4 years, and we never touched them. Maybe we should have, but never touched them, never had to clip a car, and we've used both of them in the past 2 months. So that's just the nature of the beast. That's what happens, you know. That's racing, people equate it to. So, yeah, we put a lot of long nights together the past month or so, and but we're dumb enough to keep showing up every week. So, you know, but coming to looking at last week, you know, it's tough getting cars back together, especially when you're hemorrhaging parts and hemorrhaging money. But you know, we have great sponsors that help us out to keep us going. I think one thing that really drove us to get the thing ready was next week, you know, speaking of today, is the SK5K. So we got to get it ready for that. So.
And we mentioned a moment ago, you won this race 2 years ago. How big is this race for this division, and how big was that win for you a couple seasons back?
Yeah, it's our longest race of the year. I wish it was longer. You know, we've been running 100 laps here. Now it's only 80. I mean, they do it for one reason or another. We got plenty of tires, so I'd rather do 125, 150. I love long races. So, I mean, 80 laps, you got to do what they say. So, basically 2 features. Yeah, it's our biggest race. We won it a couple years ago. I feel like I just adapt well to long races, and that goes for other things like, you know, the modified touring series and stuff like that. I enjoy those, but it's kind of for one reason or, you know, with the tour stuff, long races, you got to save tire. I think you have to save a little bit in this, but you also don't really have to. That's a difference of opinion among, you know, a lot of drivers here at in the pits, but yeah, we're just going to go after it. Everyone's going to have 3 or 4 stickers on, and it's going to be a hell of a race right from the drop of the green. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good luck here tonight.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
It's Mike Christopher Jr. looking for his second Napa SK5K win here later on this evening. One driver making his return to the Stafford Motor Speedway here tonight is looking for his first. He's with Bonza.
Kyle, the second all-time winningest driver at Stafford Speedway, is returning to the SK Modifieds, where he won a championship back in 2013, and that's Woody Pitkat. Now, Woody, how did this ride come together? You're running for Petty Cash Motorsports, your teammates with Jimmy Blewett. How did this all come together?
I have no idea. Honestly, I got a phone call from JJ. I think Ryan Flores was supposed to drive the car, and he had a health issue, and he'll be down for the next couple weeks, unfortunately. So it got me the opportunity to come back and do this. So I can't thank, Tick Mike and obviously JJ enough for giving me the opportunity. I'm sure they could have called somebody else to drive it. And obviously Keith and Jeff and everybody from KKR over here and all these guys. And Dan Avery has been a really good supporter of mine and always been a Woody fan, so he's kind of under the weather. So we're going to try to get a W, either me or Keith, for him tonight. So we'll see what we can do.
Now, you haven't raced the SKs in a few years, but you see the races at Stafford. What do you have to say about the competition in this division this year?
Yeah, I mean, just watching it every Friday night, it's the best probably in the country, really. I mean, any given night there's, 14, 16 guys that can win, so you're really going to be, especially a 40-lap race, you got to be up on the wheel pretty much the whole time, where, like, I'm more accustomed to the 80-lap races where you can kind of ride and set your own pace and then try to put yourself in the right position towards the end. So at least tonight it's 80-lappers, so that's kind of fits more my mold. But yeah, my confidence level in an SK is probably not too high because the last time I was in one, I wasn't very good. But when they told me that they practiced it and the car was very good and it's a brand new car, I don't know when the last time was I had a brand new car, especially an SK car. So I'm pretty excited to see what we can do and just come here and have fun and try to do the best we can and not obviously screw up anybody that's running for a championship, getting away any of that stuff, and just come here and try to win.
Have fun tonight.
Thank you.
Woody Pitkat's won a lot of races at Stafford. He's looking for his first win in the SK5K. Now we're going to move on to the late model pits and Kyle.
Bonza here in the late model pit, able to catch up with the driver running for a championship this season, and Adam Gray, a multi-time track champion here at the racetrack. But it's been a while since you've been to Victory Lane back in the first month of the year in May. How has this summer months been treating you?
It's been a little bit rough. I mean, we've been quick week in and week out, just lacking a little bit of luck for some reason this year, but I mean, it's bound to happen. But I can't say count us out. We've been fast. Good run last week with a torn up car. We're kind of cool tonight, and this is usually a time where we shine, so I think we're going to be way okay.
A cool night. Tom Fern says he shines when it's a hot, slick racetrack. You like the cool conditions. How do the track conditions change week to week, or say 90 degrees last week, and here we're barely cracking the 70s?
With all the rain that we've had, it washes all the rubber off the track, and it's slick. And then when you add the heat into it, it's really hot and slick. A night like tonight, it's a good horsepower night, and the track should have some good grip in it.
Now, you're one of the drivers here at the racetrack that begin your week here at the Speedway, along with end the week on Monday nights. Got to be excited how Jacob's been doing on Mondays.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Wild Things program on Monday nights is awesome. Watching all the little guys compete. It's cool because we have our little family rivalry. Who did better this week, and I really enjoy being here with them on Monday nights.
Mentioned the Wild Thing program, Wild Thing cards most Monday nights here at the Stafford Motor Speedway throughout the summer months on the mini mile here in the infield. Good luck here later tonight.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
That's Adam Gray in a late models here this evening. Let's go to the SK Light Modified pits now. Bonds is able to catch up with one of the young drivers.
Kyle, in the SK Light Modifieds, Nick Huffy's making his first full season in this division and really has come to his own over the last 3 races. Top 10s, 2 top 5s in the last 3 races. You got a 7th in the 40 lapper last week. Tell me, how tough is it to adapt to this division with all these cars?
It's definitely a lot different than the street stocks. I feel like most weeks I'll feel like I have a good car and we'll still end up running 15th or 16th for a lot of the race. And I feel like it's just important to keep your nose clean around here.
How tough is it to get through the traffic in this division? If you start like 12, 13, you've gotten a couple top 5s. How hard is it to get past all those cars in just 20 laps?
It's definitely a lot of work, and everybody's so close. It's really hard to find a spot where you're fast, a lot faster than the guy in front of you, where you can make a move on him. And it's really just about keeping your nose clean and staying out of other people's mess.
What's the biggest lesson that you've learned going from the street stocks to the SK Lights? 2 very different cars, very different styles. What has been the biggest lesson for you this year?
You can't really use the front bumper as much, that's for sure. Just keeping your nose clean. The street stock, you can hit quite a bit of stuff and you'll be able to finish. These, you hit the right front the wrong way and you got to pull off.
How's the car been driving? What more do you need to get that first podium?
I just been tight, just kind of tight all year, just working on that a little bit. But these, it's a lot easier to be tight than it is to be loose. When you're loose, it's pretty hard to hang on sometimes.
How do you think the track's gonna be today? It's cloudy, it's not that hot, but obviously the threat of rain nearby. How do you think the track's gonna be today? Is it gonna be slick? Is it gonna be tight? How do you feel about it?
I don't think it'll be too slick. I think it'll be just about, I feel like track doesn't change a horrible lot from every week. I think there's definitely some change, but I think it doesn't play too much of a factor of how I drive, but I think it'll just not be as slick.
Have fun today.
Thank you.
That's Nick Huffy looking for his first podium in the SK Lights after a couple top 5s in the last 3 races. It's time to go racing. It's Napa Auto Parts SK5K night with Kyle Rickey on the call.
Those are just some of the stories in the pit area as we get set for a full night of racing with our 5 weekly divisions headlined by the 10th annual Napa Auto Parts SK5K for the SK Modifieds. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Stafford Motor Speedway. Kyle Rickey joined by Bonza Tufa. And Bonza, it's an event that we've been waiting for quite some time, especially the SK Modified teams. A lot of prestige goes with winning the Napa SK5K and a pretty good payout as well.
Well, it's $5,000 to win and over $28,000 in total purse money. So there's a lot on the line. Plus, SK Property Maintenance added in a $500 bonus to the leader at the halfway point. So it's not just about winning the race, but you get an extra bonus if you lead lap 40. It's the biggest race of the year. Every driver wants to win, especially this race, though. $5,000 is a lot of money. There's a lot of great cars out there. It's going to be interesting to see who takes it easy early, who goes hard from the start, who falls off towards the end, and who comes out on top.
And there have been some great drivers that have won that race over the years. Ryan Preece, of course, a former winner of the Napa SK5K. The late Ted Christopher picked up the win. Ronnie Williams, more recently, Mike Christopher Jr., who is here tonight.
Marcello Rafano.
Marcello Rafano, who won here last Friday night, the defending winner of the event. But there's some big names in the field tonight that seemingly have won just about everything here at the racetrack, except the Napa SK5K.
Keith Rocco is chief among them. He's literally won just about everything. He's won the TC13. He's won the Senators Cup. He's won the old 100-lappers, the Coors 100 from many years ago, but he hasn't won the Napa SK5K.
Woody Pitkat back with us here as well tonight. We saw him a moment ago in our preview. Heat race action already out on the racetrack. We're going to jump right into it with the limited late models. Heat race number 1 of 2. Car number 74 will bring us to the green flag from Springfield, Vermont. The Bears Cleaning Services car for Matt Winter.
On the outside of the front row is the number 22 machine from New Hartford, Connecticut, sponsored by Days Cannabis, Gary Patno.
Third starter, car number 19 from Plainville, Connecticut, the CSB Communications qualifications car for Adrian Paradise III.
Starting fourth is the number 87 machine, sponsored by Stafford Veterinary Center from Wellington, Connecticut. It's Damian Pilardi.
Fifth starter, car 23 from Canton, Connecticut, the Genco Construction Chevrolet for Devin Jensick.
Starting sixth is the number 21 machine, making a part-time appearance this year from Coventry, Connecticut. GP Fence gives us Kevin Crosby.
Seventh starter, the 07 from Holland, Massachusetts. Five-star Automotive providing the sponsorship for Trinity Provost.
And rounding out the 8-car field is the SRD Motorsports number 82 from Harrisville, Rhode Island, Samantha Dell.
8 laps, 5 to qualify through the handicap here in this opening of 2 qualifying events for the limited late models. Good field of these cars on hand once again here this evening.
And Matt Winter, the second, starts on the front row. His first year at Stafford Speedway, coming from up north. Getting a taste of the limited late models. It's been quite a transition from him, going from the front wheel cars to the rear wheel drive cars. Let's see what he's got here up in front to start this heat.
Coming all the way down from Vermont. Green flag is up. We are underway with race number 1 on the night. And it's the outside lane that gets the jump for Gary Patnode, who will lead the field to turn 1 and now will spin into the corner and tag the outside safer wall at a ton.
And Gary Patnode, his bad luck just continues. It's been a rough season for him. He hit the wall hard on the left side and on the left rear. Matt Winter, the second, going in right front first, and both cars have a lot of damage, especially the 74, as Winter climbs out of the car, and he is unhappy at Gary Patnode.
Not the way either of these drivers wanted to start the night. Winter right now in the passenger's side window for those watching on the big screen or on FloRacing at home. A very heated exchange taking place right now up in turn number 1, and a couple of tore-up race cars to begin the evening here tonight. And you mentioned Gary Patnode. What a horrible season it has been.
It is, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what other way to describe it. It has been a tough year, no doubt. Couple of big incidents, one up in turn 3 back in, I think, the month of May.
30-lapper.
Yeah, the 30-lapper. And now here tonight to begin the heat race, tangling in turn number 1.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see a replay of what happened. Matt Winter got a decent start, but it's almost like when he shifted, it just wasn't a smooth shift, and Patnode got out ahead. But we'll have to see how the contact got started. It's just a tough break. Matt Winter, the second, his car was tore up heavily in one of his first Friday nights of the year. He missed the first couple races, and then he had a crash in the heat race on the very first lap, kind of like now. And his car was heavily damaged, and they got it put back together. And they've been okay. They're still learning the car, but this is a big setback. So let's take a look at what happened on the front row. It's hard to tell whether the 22 came down or the 74 could have gone lower. There wasn't much room to begin with, to be honest.
Either way, they ran out of room. At the
did.
bottom of the racetrack, contact was made, and both cars went up and into the outside safer wall. Gary, just one top 5 finish this season to open up 2023, and has not found the top 5 since in a feature event. Obviously still looking for that first win of the season after claiming 2 checkered flags here in the limited late models a year ago. So it'll take a couple of moments to sop up the fluid out on the asphalt in turn number 1.
What a start.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes sometimes. It's unfortunate for the 74 and 22. Just, it's a shame that it happened on lap 1 of a heat race, no less. Hopefully they can get their cars ready in time for the feature. It'll be tough, especially for the 74. It's hard to tell how much damage Patnode has, but he hit the wall pretty good with the left rear and the driver's side, so it could have done some damage to the rear end of that car. And we'll take a look once again at the replay from a different angle. Winter got a good start, but it seemed like when he shifted, it just didn't have a good shift. It's just tight racing. It's hard to really say who's at fault per se for that one. It's just Patnode ran his line, Winter ran his line, and they just converged.
A couple of big hits to the outside wall. Patnode left rear, Matt Winter the front end of that car going straight in, and both will go off on the hook up in turn number 1. That happening down on the midway here tonight. Habitat for Humanity, our friends down on the midway with a display, along with our folks from Drive Sober and General Dynamics. all on the midway with displays here this evening. The Stafford novelty booth is open. A lot of great T-shirts from not only here at Stafford Motor Speedway, but a lot of our team T-shirts and a lot of your favorite drivers. Shirts are available down at the Stafford novelty booth, just coming off of turn number 4 behind the grandstands.
Keith Rocco has his shirts down there. Woody Pitkat had his Woody hoodie. Now he's got his own
Some new
shirt.
T-shirts, yeah.
Joey Farino has his own shirts down there. There's several driver team shirts that you can get, as you mentioned, for your favorite driver. And if you're ready for an early drink, you can go down to the Double Hook patio as well. There's already a lot of people down there. So
every table has some folks at it.
That's been a common theme this year. I can see them waving at us in the booth as you see Matt Winter go on the double hook. Racing can be so cruel sometimes, especially having a case like this for Winter being a new team here at Stafford Speedway. There's a look at the double hook patio.
Now they can wave, and they can actually see themselves waving. There we go.
There's a couple waves. So if you just tuned in, we just got started.
Just underway, lap 1, heat 1 for the limited late models. The front row coming together with Matt Winter, the car you see on the double hooked going into the infields, and also Gary Patnode, whose 22 car remains against the outside safer wall. And once that car is removed, they'll take a lap or two through the speedy dry and we'll be back underway.
So that puts Adrian Paradise to 3rd in the lead, and this is Paradise's first full year in limited late model competition. He competed in street stocks from 2019 until last season, won 3 times, and he scored a best finish of 2nd this year. He's overall been pretty solid transitioning from the street stocks to the limited late models, and he also has one of the nicer looking cars out there in the field too.
He does. And you can see it crossing the start-finish line as we speak. That blue and gray number 19.
It's got a couple of battle scars.
From Plainville, Connecticut. Like you mentioned, a 3-time street stock winner in his rookie season here for the Limiteds.
Taking a look at Gary Patnode's car, you can see the damage to the left rear and the left side. Visually doesn't look bad, but when it comes to the suspension, we'll see how much damage the rear end of that car has. Because he went into that wall pretty hard.
A lot of time, or they'll have some time to fix the car. I want to say a lot of time because I feel like there's never enough time.
It's never enough time.
For these teams to get these cars prepared to where they want them prepared for race night. But they'll have some time. A lot of heat races here tonight with the huge field of SK Modifieds and SK Light Modifieds. A good field of street stocks and late models to come as well. So along with the limited late models and their pair of qualifying events. So they'll have a little bit of time to see if they can put the 22 car back together for the feature event here later tonight.
By the way, Gary Patnode is okay. He's just staying in the car as it got hooked onto the infield. Matt Winter climbed out of his car. Patnode stayed in his car because he just got hooked on the front end. There's Gary Patnode. So he's all right, probably pondering what he needs to do for the feature. Well, the field is doubled up. 6 cars remain in this one. Adrian Paradise, the 3rd, is going to lead the field to the green flag. Damian Pilardi 2nd, Devin Jensick 3rd, Kevin Crosby 4th, Trinity Provost 5th, and Samantha Dell 6th. Samantha Dell in the 82 had some track time earlier today as well.
Did a bit of a private test session earlier this afternoon. We'll see if her comfortability behind the car pays off here later tonight. Green flag is back up, and it's another blue car to lead the field into turn number 1. Car number 19 for Adrian Paradise.
He gets the jump and clears Pilardi heading into turn 1. Pilardi tries to stick it on the outside coming off of 2, and he's almost there. He has his left front right on the right rear of Paradise, but Paradise still has the advantage in turn 3.
Here they come off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 1. Paradise out front. Pilardi now finds himself in a battle for 2nd with Devin Jensick going to the inside in car number 23.
The top 5 in this heat race will qualify for the handicap, which is ever so important. Devin Jensick in the 23 has been on a good stretch after a tough start to the year. He's trying to get by Pilardi in the battle for 2nd spot right now.
Kevin Crosby in that lead group as well in car number 21 as Paradise is beginning to pull away at the front of the field in car number 19. Battle for 2nd for the 3rd time by is side by side. Jensick will take that spot away into turn number 2. Pilardi will fall into 3rd just in front of Crosby in car number 21.
Pilardi drives it in deep into 3, lays the bumper on Jensick all the way through 3 and 4. Jensick hangs on. Pilardi takes a look to the inside of the 23 going back into turn 1.
Jensic coming off a podium finish a week ago here in the limited late model division with a third place run. Car number 23 right now second here in this opening qualifying event. Has his hands full though. Damian Pilardi is there challenging back to the inside. A little bit of contact. Everybody's okay and maintains their spot on the racetrack with 4 down and 4 to go.
Pilardi keeps reminding Jensic, hello, I am still here, as they both reel in Adrian Paradise to third in the 19 car. Paradise got a little wide off of 4 after getting a little bit loose, lost some ground, but the gap is still at about a car length between first, second, and third.
Kevin Crosby trying to close in to make it a 4-way race up front, kind of on an island of his own right now in that 4th spot as the top 3 pull away. Paradise continues to lead. Jensic in second, Pilardi in third, and all over the back bumper of that 23 car is Pilardi. Unable to make a move, coming to 2 laps to go.
Now, to keep in mind in the big picture, all 3 of these drivers are qualified for the handicap, so you don't really want to push the issue and risk losing a spot in the top 5 somehow, because no matter where you finish within the top 3, you're still going to have the same starting spot.
Up the back straightaway, top 3 still glued together. Led by Adrian Paradise. The limited late model rookie comes off of turn number 4, looks for the white flag, 1 lap to run in this opening qualifying heat race. Devin Jensic, Damian Pilardi challenging there in second and third.
Paradise's car has gotten loose a couple times coming off of turn 2 and turn 4, and that's what's allowing Jensic to reel in that 19. Half a lap to go. Jensic takes a quick look to the inside, but backs off early into turn 3 as Pilardi continues to hound Jensic's back bumper.
Had a look to the outside, did Pilardi. Checkered flag is out for Paradise, and he will win qualifying race number 1 for the limited late models. Devin Jensic will finish in second, Damian Pilardi third, and Kevin Crosby will round out the front half of the field.
Samantha Dell will have the 5th and final spot to get in the handicap. Trinity Provost finishes 6th. And then the last 2 cars, Gary Patnode and Matt Winter the second after their first lap incident as we close out the first of 2 limited late model heats. And Paradise had the lead, but Jensic and Pilardi looked pretty quick. They stuck with that 19, and I was really impressed by the 87 of Pilardi. His car could really cut coming off of turn 4. It seemed like it was handling good. We'll see what he's got for the feature.
See where that stacks him up for the 20-lap feature event later tonight for the limited late models. Heat race number 2 about to head out onto the racetrack once they clear the infield of the 2 cars that were involved in the incident on lap number 1. Matt Winter's car now being towed to the exit of the back straightaway. Gary Patnose to the exit of turn number 1, or the front straightaway in car 22. And once they are back behind the wall safely, heat race number 2 will head out onto the racetrack. We'll jump into the starting lineup. 7 cars will take the green flag. Car number 17 will start from the pole from Canton, Connecticut, the RE Spray Foam sponsored car. Connor Jensic will lead the field to green.
Our defending champion will start in the 2nd spot from Tallinn, Connecticut, sponsored by Wheeler's Auto Parts, Napa. It's the 28 of Rich Hammond.
3rd starter, car number 14 from Agawam, Massachusetts, the Gendon Auto Parts, Garrett's Carpentry sponsored car for Kevin Cormier.
Last week's winner starts on the outside of row 2 in car number 59 from Wethersfield, Connecticut, sponsored by Utility Services New England, Matt Clements.
Car number 6 will start from the 5th spot from Windsor Locks, Connecticut, the Lavoie Racing sponsored car for Jeremy Lavoie.
The 42 machine will start in 6th, sponsored by Daddy O'Honey, and she's from Durham, Connecticut. She is Dana Ray.
And rounding out the 7-car field, car number 18 from Wethersfield, Connecticut, the Utility Services New England sponsored car, the Chevrolet, driven by Scott Clements.
And once again, the top 5 will qualify for the handicap. It looks like Connor Jensic will elect to start in the back of the field as well as Dana Ray in the 42. So that means Rich Hammond will have the front when we go green for the heat.
Jeremy Lavoie, car number 6, the current championship point leader coming into tonight. And I know a lot of these drivers and teams don't like to talk about points, especially in the first half of the year. But we're getting to a point of the season, Bonzo, where a lot of drivers are beginning to take note, especially if they know that they have a shot at this year's championship in all 5 of our divisions.
Well, we talked about it in our preview. There's only 2 months left in the season. We're a lot closer to the end than it may feel like. It seems like we just started the year not that long ago, but we're already in August. So, yeah, this stretch is critical. If there's a time to get hot, now is the time.
Here they come off of turn number 4. Lights are out. Pace car set to pull onto the pit lane. Rich Hammond, The defending champion of this division comes off of turn number 4, currently 4th in the championship standings, and the current leader on the track as they come to the green flag to begin heat race number 2 for the limited late models, with Cormier getting the jump topside.
Connor Jensick in the back of the field did not get a good jump on the start. He might have missed a shift as Kevin Cormier rockets around Hammond off of turn 2 and quickly pulls ahead by 3 car lengths.
Clement in 3rd, Lavoie in 4th. They are nose to nose for position number 3 as they come off of turn 4 to complete lap number 1. Cormier is getting gone at the front of the field over a good race, 3-car battle for the 2nd spot.
Got your defending champion in 2nd, the 3-time winner this year in 3rd, and our point leader running in 4th. So a couple really good cars battling for that runner-up spot. But Hammond did not get off of too well at all, and that opens the door for Clement, Matt Clement in the 59 as he looks for 2nd spot.
Matt Clement able to pick up the checkered flag just 1 week ago here at the Speedway. Lavoie in the 3rd, make that 4th spot, trying to go to 2nd, 3 wide for a moment, stuck the nose in there, but thought better of it, was able to move around Rich Hammond, who is kicked back to position number 4 in car number 28.
Rich Hammond this year, it's just not been the year he's looking for. Trying to defend his title from last season. They tried to see if they can build off their setup last year, but he said the track has changed so much compared to last season, which that can happen. It's just the track evolves year after year and it changes, and they haven't quite hit the setup. Jeremy Lavoie in the 6th said they tried a brand new setup after last year's setup didn't work, and look where it's gotten him. A couple wins and the point lead.
Halfway home, 4 down, 4 to go. Right now he is currently in position number 3. Lavoie in the 6th, chasing Kevin Cormier. Car number 14, who is a multi-time winner this season. 3 checkered flags, in fact. Out front now that is by about 5 car lengths over Clement in 2nd. Then that battle for 3rd, it's a good one. I feel like these two have been battling each other several times over the course of the last 3 seasons, and they're at it again here in this heat race.
Jeremy Lavoie and Rich Hammond battle for 3rd. Hammond has been able to keep in touch with Lavoie, but doesn't have quite enough as of now to go for the pass. Matt Clement, though, is reeling in Cormier quick. Cormier had a lead of almost a second. It's almost cut in half. Actually, it's cut by more than half now.
59 closing in. What was 5 or 6 car lengths is down to about 2, less than that. Call it 1 to the exit of turn number 2 between Cormier and Clement. The battle for 3rd rages on between Lavoie and Hammond. Be the white flag this time. 1 lap to go here in limited late model heat 2.
Remember, Kevin Cormier last week started dead last, 16th, and came through the field to finish 5th, which was a much needed result after starting in the back of the field. He's able to salvage points and stay in that championship battle, and he's off to a good start tonight, leading the way with 2 turns to go.
Into turn number 3, it'll be the checkered flag this time. Here comes Matt Clement, 1 final shot off of turn 4. Not close enough. Checkered flag is out. Kevin Cormier will win heat race number 2 for the limited late models over Matt Clement in 2nd, Jeremy Lavoie in 3rd, and Rich Hammond in 4th.
Connor Jensick will have the 5th and final spot in the handicap. Scott Clement finishes 6th. Dana Ray rounds out the 7-car field as we get set for our next division, the late models, where they have 19 slated to go at it for 30 laps later tonight.
And a good field of late models on hand once again here this evening. Tom Fern on a hot streak in that division. One of the all-time winningest drivers here at the Speedway, and of course leading the late model all-time win list. We're going to continue that here tonight after winning the last 2 races, but both of them in the month of July.
But yes, he's undefeated in the month of July, and that Fern team has made that very clear online. But Kyle.
Yes, sir.
It's not hot today.
It is not.
So what is Tom Fern going to do? He always says when the weather is hot, they're hot. It's been pretty cool today.
And I asked him that in the pits. I said, you know, it's about 20 degrees cooler than it was last week. He said, that's okay. The track's cooler, but I'm still hot. So
that's Tom for
Take it for what it's worth as the heat race is out on the racetrack. This is heat race number 1 of 2, car number 12. Speaking of Fern, will lead the field to the green flag. This is Alexandra Fern from Hamden, Massachusetts, the Broadbrook Brewing sponsored car number 12.
Starting 2nd is the Blake Company number 61 from North Haven, Connecticut. It is John Blake.
Starting 3rd, car number 39 to the inside of that 2nd row from Berlin, Connecticut. Tavern on the tracks to bring us Paul Verrecchio.
The 00 will begin or start in the outside of the 2nd row from Pawcatuck, Connecticut. Northeast Sheet Metal gives us Jacob Perry.
5th starter, car 17 from Milford, Connecticut. The Wayne's Auto Body Incorporated sponsored car for Wayne Corey.
Starting 6th is the Green Monster in car number 4 from Stafford Springs, Connecticut. Square Peg Pizzeria gives us Turbo Tom Butler.
7-starter and a driver that told us earlier he likes cooler racetracks, so this might be his night. From Granby, Massachusetts, the Meadows Motor Car sponsored car for Adam Gray.
And here's a newcomer to the late model division from Mapleville, Rhode Island, sponsored by Bryant's Burrillville Motors. It's the number 11 machine of Corey Fanning.
9-starter car number 9 from Naugatuck, Connecticut, the A6A Associate sponsored car for Bobby Sturck.
And to close out the 10-car field is the 33 machine from Barkhamsted, Connecticut. AVI Incorporated gives us Aiden Burrell.
So Alexandra Fern, the Safeco Foam sponsored number 12 to lead the field to the green flag here in just a couple of corners from now. Former limited late model champion, getting her footing here in the late models in her first full season here in 2023. As she comes off of turn number 4, as does the rest of the field, to receive the green flag.
And John Blake gets a great jump as Alex Fern had looks like trouble shifting in the high gears. The field heads to turn 1. It's Blake out in front, Alex Fern second, Jacob Perry in third gets loose on the outside and falls back a spot.
Crossed up just a bit, opens the door for Verrecchio to the bottom, one of the fastest cars in last week's 30-lap feature event. Up to third right now for Verrecchio. Then it's going to be the 00 for Jacob Perry, and Tom Butler, feature winner this season, rounds out the top 5 in the green number 4.
It looks like a couple cars from this heat are missing. Wayne Corey Jr. and Aiden Burrell have not made the heat, so may have some issues with both those cars. We'll see what happens to them come feature time. The hottest battle on the track is for 4th. Tom Butler leans on the left rear of Jacob Perry, trying to take that position.
Perry in the 00, Butler in the 4, had a peek to the inside here at the start-finish line, fell back into line just in front of Adam Gray, who right now has nowhere to go. The green cars get together, Butler has to back off, and Gray will shoot the gap through the middle, go to the outside, and go from the 5th spot up to 4th. Near contact there with Perry on the backstretch.
Yeah, that got a little too close off of turn 2 as Jacob Perry looked like tried to come down on Butler, and it did not work. And those two had a couple run-ins last week as well. 2nd spot now. Paul Verrecchio Jr. in the 39 tries to get underneath Alex Fern in the 12.
Bobby Sturck in the outside lane further back with Fanning. Battle for 2nd. You mentioned Verrecchio to the inside of Fern. Alexandra will hang on to that runner-up spot. Paul will fall in the line in 3rd in car number 39, or will he up the back straightaway?
Verrecchio takes a look once again on the bottom, and this time he's there. He pulls alongside Fern, passes Fern, and moves up to position number 2, while John Blake pulls to about a 1-second lead at the front of the field with 3 to go.
Verrecchio to 2nd. Can he reel him in? Is there enough time for the 39 to close in on the 61? Fern in the 3rd spot, has that spot covered right now with Gray in 4th, Perry in 5th, as they exit turn number 4 and get the 2 lap to go signal.
And we have 10 cars in the lineup, 8 started. The top 7 qualify for the handicap. The final spot in that handicap is Corey Fanning in the 11, who gets his Stafford career started tonight in the late model division. Tom Butler is still trying to find a way past Jacob Perry as they race bumper to bumper into turn 3 in a battle for 5th.
White flag is up, 1 lap to go. Best battle is for position number 5, a full straightaway behind the race leader, John Blake, in car number 61. Out front, Verrecchio is indeed closing in, but it looks like it's going to run out of time in that 2nd spot. Same distance back to Alexandra Fern, the pole sitter of this race, in 3rd.
Pretty impressive showing for John Blake in this heat. He's able to pull away by just under a second and take the first late model heat of the night. Paul Verrecchio Jr. finishes 2nd, Alex Fern 3rd, Adam Gray 4th. Jacob Perry holds off Tom Butler to round out the top 5.
Tom Butler will finish in the 6th spot, Bobby Sturck in 7th, and Corey Fanning will round out the 8 cars that took the green flag. And you mentioned a couple of cars weren't out there, including the number 17, Wayne Corey, who did have an incident or something happened in practice. I saw the car going off on the hook at the end of the final practice earlier this afternoon.
And there's another driver who hasn't been able to catch a
Correct.
break because that's his 2nd car. His primary car, the 10 car, was wrecked heavily at the finish of the late model feature a couple weeks ago after he got T-boned by Michael Ray.
So heat race number 2 already rolling out onto the speedway for the late models. And starting on the pole will be car number 2 from Monroe, Connecticut, the Green Knolls Landscaping Chevrolet. Our pole sitter is Dwayne Knoll.
Starting second is the 42 machine from Durham, Connecticut, sponsored by DMW Graphics. It's Michael Ray.
Car number 43 goes next in line, former limited late model champion from Chicopee, Massachusetts, the Payless Auto Glass sponsored car for Andrew Duran.
A 2-time street stock champion starts on the outside of row 2 from Putnam, Connecticut. The number 89 machine sponsored by Green Knolls Landscaping. It's Zach Robinson.
5th starter, car number 87 from North Franklin, Connecticut, the Mayday Oil sponsored Chevrolet for Chris Meyer.
Starting 6th is the 79 machine, who's been one of the more consistent drivers in this division. From Enfield, Connecticut, Big Kahuna Racing and Jarmark Farm gives us Daryl Keene.
7th starter, car number 23 from Ellington, Connecticut, the Levine Law Chevrolet for Kevin Gambacorda.
The winner of the last 2 features starts in 8th from East Longmeadow, Mass, sponsored by King Gray Coach Lions, the number 92 of Tom Fern.
9th starter, car number 44 from Durham, Connecticut, the teamschoice.com Chevrolet for David Ray will start 9th.
And rounding out the 10-car field is the number 20 from Morris, Connecticut, Litchfield County Marine gives us PJ Zarella. So 10 cars in this heat after 10 in the first. That's 20 in total. A good field for the late models as they double up ready for the green flag. You look at the front row, Dwayne Knoll, the 2-car. He started off the year with a top 10, but since then just hasn't been smooth sailing for that team. He's starting up front here. Let's see if he can stay up there as the top 7 qualify for the handicap.
Yeah, 1 top 10 since then, 2 on the season, coming off a 12th place finish in the feature event a week ago for Dwayne Knoll. About to lead the field down to the green flag here for the start of this 2nd late model qualifying event. Pace car on pit road, nice and slow off of turn number 4. Knoll and Ray, green flag is up and we're underway for 8 laps.
Andrew Duran takes a look on the bottom from the 2nd row. Does he push the issue? He's slowly trying to get underneath Knoll while Ray powers around the outside to take the lead.
I thought about making it 3 wide and Ray was able to pull away, so there remain 2 wide for position number 2. A couple of car lengths behind Ray, who scampers away at the front of the field. Michael Ray will lead lap number 1.
Ooh.
Duran in 2nd. They are knotted up from 3rd on back.
Yeah, Chris Meyer. Oh, and he just gave Dwayne Knoll the door in turn 1. Meyer, Knoll, and Robinson got 3 wide and got all tangled up coming down the front stretch. Then Meyer got into Knoll going into 1, and just like that, in a matter of a few laps, Knoll goes from 1st almost back to last.
Gambacorda doing what he's been doing all season long, and that's just missing all the contact for the most part and sliding his way through up to 3rd in car number 23. First car on your screen for those watching at home on Flow. Then it's going to be the 2-time winner the last couple of weeks for Tom Fern in position number 4. Meyer will round out the top 5.
Chris Meyer's 87 machine got repaired after he was involved in the big wreck last week early in the feature, hitting the turn 1 wall and Zach Robinson pretty hard. He runs 5th right now. Daryl Keene 6th. Zach Robinson, as I mentioned, has the last spot in the handicap in 7th as we complete 4 of 8 laps this time by.
Halfway home, and it's beginning to tighten up at the point. A half a second between the top 2 last time by. Michael Ray in the 42, Andrew Duran in the 43. 4/10 of a second this time as they cross the stripe. So it looks like Duran, the fastest car among the lead duo right now. We'll see if he can make a move over the next 3.5 laps to win this 2nd qualifying event.
Zach Robinson has fallen off the pace in the 89 car as he heads into pit road in turn 3. Don't know what happened to that machine, but he had a heavily damaged race car last week, and so far issues in his heat race will put him aside for now.
So a tough break for Zach Robinson, who pulls his car to pit road as the rest of the field is on the racetrack at speed, coming to 2 to go. And again, the margin has stabilized just a bit these last few laps. Michael Ray, Andrew Duran, 5-6 car lengths a few laps ago, has been about 2 car lengths the last couple of times by, and it remains that distance as they go back to turn 2. Gambacorda unable to close in 3rd. Fern in 4th, Meyer to round out the front 5.
Andrew Duran in the 43 has stepped it up this year when it comes to how that team has been performing in the late models. He got his first career win late last year holding off Adam Gray, and then this year he got a win already, and he's been a consistent top 5 to top 10 car every single Friday night. he still doesn't have enough to reel in Ray. In fact, Michael Ray is pulled by an extra car length. The gap is now about 6 car lengths with 2 turns to go.
That'll be the checkered flag this time off of turn number 4. Michael Ray in car number 42 after that big impact here on the front stretch a couple of weeks ago will win heat race number 2 here tonight for the late models. Andrew Duran will finish in 2nd. Kevin Gambacourt 3rd. Tom Fern in 4th, and Chris Meyer will round out the top 5.
Daryl Keene and Dwayne Knoll will be the last 2 cars to make the handicap. Dave Ray finishes 8th, and Zach Robinson winds up 9th. PJ Zarella, mentioned starting last in this heat, didn't make the heat, so 9 cars took the green flag, 8 finished, as Robinson will have some work to do heading back to the pits.
So the lineup is now set for the 30-lap late model feature event here later on this evening. 2 divisions of our 5 have been qualified. Another huge car count for the SK Light Modifieds here tonight. Over 30 in the pits, and the first of the 4 qualifying races heading out onto the Speedway right now. Car number 75 will lead the field to the green flag in this opening qualifier from Windsor Locks, Connecticut, the Ferrari Lawn and Landscaping sponsored car for the 75 of Casey Vogt.
Starting second is the 21 car from Wolcott, Connecticut, sponsored by Arizona Roofing. It's Sammy Anderson.
Third starter, car number 42 from New Hartford, Connecticut, Joining Technologies, providing the sponsorship for Stephen Kalogiannis.
Starting on the outside of the second row is the 82 machine from Tolland, Connecticut. Supreme Industries gives us Paul Arute.
Fifth starter, car number 16, heard from him in our preview just a bit ago from Chaplin, Connecticut, the Busy Bees Learning Center sponsored car for Nicholas Huffy.
In the 6th spot is the number 41 car from Ellington, Connecticut, sponsored by Chapman Apartment Homes. It's Tyler Chapman.
7th starter, car number 33 from Windham, Connecticut, the Advanced Sewer and Drain sponsored car for Haley DeZonia.
And rounding out the 8-car field is the number 17 machine from Manchester, Connecticut, sponsored by Bartkowski Racing. It's Glenn Bartkowski.
You'll get the 1-to-go signal this time by as the sun pops out over turn number 1.
Oh, that's a welcome sight. Let's keep it that way.
We hope. Indeed. Nice sight up in the sky above turn number 1. And as I say that, the clouds cover the sunshine, so it lasted all of about 20 seconds. But we know it's up there still.
Way to go, K-Rick. Didn't take long for you to jinx it.
Story of my life. Going to the green flag, this time heat race number 1 of 4 for the SK Light Modifieds here tonight. Casey Vogt, Sammy Anderson. To make up the front row, Stephen Kalogiannis in 3rd, Paul Arute outside of him in 4th. Green is up, we're underway.
Didn't take long for these rows to start pushing, even in the heat race, as they race side by side into turn 1. 4 rows of 2, still wheel to wheel off of 2, but it's Vogt that has the advantage and clears Sammy off the corner.
Anderson slides in the line in 2nd, still double wide from 3rd on back. Kalogiannis to the inside of Paul Arute, then it's Hovey. 2nd car in line on the bottom in that group in the 16 with the 41 of Tyler Chapman, who has nowhere to go, running just outside of the top 5.
And remember, the top 4 qualify for the handicap in these SK Light heats, so you mentioned nowhere to go. That's a challenge for guys like Tyler Chapman, Tyler Berry, Alex Pearl. If they start further back in the heat and they're side by side in front of you, you have literally nowhere to go.
Just waiting for one lane to advance and try to get there while it's moving forward, and that's what the 41 is doing right now for Tyler Chapman. Found the bottom on Nick Hovey off of turn number 2. Will take that 4th spot away as they're stacked up for 2nd. Sammy Anderson to the outside of Kalogiannis.
Kalogiannis came off a spin in the 40-lapper last Friday, looking for a cleaner night tonight. He takes hold of position number 2. Tyler Chapman, the 41, looks underneath Sammy Anderson, the battle for 3rd. And we've seen Sammy Anderson make that outside line work in the heats before, but so far, not going too well.
Chapman making the inside lane work off of turn number 4, moves around Anderson, who is trying to just hang in the top 4 right now, and she will not. She's going to lose, it looks like, the 5th spot to Hovey. In fact, she'll fall to 5th. Hovey to 4th, and she'll tuck in the line just in front of Paul Arute in car number 82.
3 laps to go in this heat when they come back around. Casey Vogt has pulled to about a 3-car length lead over Stephen Kalogiannis. Tyler Chapman in 3rd seems to be faster than that 42 machine, but how much will Chapman push it? He's in a good spot right now as he pulls up to the 42's back bumper.
It's the battle for the 2nd spot. Tyler Chapman, Stephen Kalogiannis, 2nd and 3rd. Kalogiannis has the spot. Chapman wants it with 2 laps to go. All of this behind Casey Vogt, who leads by just a couple of car lengths over second, third, fourth, and the battle for fifth.
Whoa, Sammy and Paul Aruc get together off of 2. Paul Aruc got some air. Anderson keeps it straight. Aruc keeps going. The white flag is out. We stay under green, but Sammy Anderson has come to a stop on the backstretch.
Staying under the green flag for now as Anderson's car is rolled to a stop and the caution comes out. So they were battling for position number 5 off of turn number 2 when contact was made between Sammy Anderson in the 21, Paul Aruc in the 82. And Anderson now gets her car fired back up.
It's not been a good couple Fridays for Sammy Anderson. Just unfortunate luck getting caught up in accidents. I mean, last Friday she got caught up in an accident in her heat, damaged the right front, and then got caught up in a pileup coming off of 4 in the feature. Don't know how much damage she has now. She's still going, so it may not be too bad, but just trying to turn that luck around. I was going to mention her and Casey Vogt are 2 drivers who really need to turn their luck around. So far, so good for Casey Vogt. Tough start for Sammy Anderson.
Casey Vogt finds himself at the front of the field in car number 75 for the final, what looks like will be lap or so of this heat race when we go back under the green flag.
And Paul Aruc in the 82.
I think he's just going to lag back to make sure there's no damage,
yeah,
and try to diagnose if there is, and be alone on the racetrack in doing so.
Because he got some air. He climbed over Sammy Anderson's left front when they touched wheels coming off of turn 2.
So it'll be another lap or so before we go back under the green flag, getting everybody in the proper restart order. And that'll include moving Paul Aruc in front of Sammy Anderson, I think is what I just saw from the starter stand. We'll go green in about a lap and a half from now. Heat race number 1, again of 4 for the SK Light Modifieds here tonight. Been some incredible racing in this division over the last, well, all year really. 37 took the green flag, was it last week?
Yeah, for the 40
for the
lap.
Dunleavy's Modifieds night. 34, 35 cars in the weeks prior to that.
The lowest we've had, I think, is 30.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable. This division has grown a lot over the last few years. A lot of new drivers, a lot of veterans. It's just been incredible to see how many cars we have as they're picking up debris in turn 1. That's why we're still under caution. And we'll take a look at what caused the yellow as the field took the white flag. Right side of your screen, it'll be in the back of the field. That white car with the orange stripe on the hood. That's Paul Aruc, and then Sammy Anderson, the 21, in front of him. Sammy slides up the track, tries to come down. Paul Aruc came up a bit, and they just converged.
Contact was made. Right rear, left front. And both cars are able to continue on. And we'll go green next time by.
Tyler Chapman in the 41 car started 6th in this heat. Got blocked for a moment because they were side by side in front of him, but after that, he's quickly made his way up to 3rd. We'll see how much he drives it here on this restart, how hard he goes to try and get to the front. But Casey Vogt's been pretty solid so far. He stayed up front throughout the 7 laps so far, but he'll have to go through one more restart if he wants to stay up front and stay in that handicap.
Going to be a quick run to the finish here in this opening qualifying heat for the SK Light Modifieds. Casey Vogt in the 75. Stephen Kalogiannis to the outside in car 42. Green flag is up. We're back underway. And it's going to be Vogt to get the jump into the corner. Here's Chapman to the inside of Kalogiannis for 2nd. In fact, Chapman wants to look for the race lead.
Vogt got wide off of turn 2, and that opened the door for Chapman in the 41 to take a look. He's on the inside of Vogt as they head to 3, wheel to wheel, heading towards the checkered flag.
Checkered is up, side by side for the top spot. At the line, it looks like
Casey Vogt, I believe.
Well, timing says otherwise, but we'll get an official. Casey Vogt in the 75 visually. Could have been Tyler Chapman as well by 3/1000ths of a second in the 41. Getting to the line first with Stephen Kalogiannis in 3rd. Nick Huffy 4th, and Glenn Barkowski all separated by less than a second in that final 1-lap shootout to finish in 5th. Paul Aruc, Haley DeZonia, and Sammy Anderson rounding out the 8-car field. So heat race number 1 in the books for the SK Lights. Heat race number 2 will head out onto the racetrack as we speak. Car number 34 will lead the field to the green from Oxford, Massachusetts. The Absolute Group of Companies sponsored car. Dalton McCarthy, our pole sitter here for this qualifying event.
Starting second is the 51 machine from Norwich, Connecticut, sponsored by SAB Tree Experts. It's Matt Brewer.
One of the veterans of this division will start in third. Car number 1 from right here in Stafford, the Wicked Power Sports entry for Bob Charland.
Starting fourth is the winningest driver in this division in car number 29 from right here in Stafford, sponsored by Vernon Chevrolet, Chris Matthews.
Fifth starter, car number 44 from Ellington, Connecticut, the Chapman Apartment Home sponsored car for Jason Chapman.
Our point leader and most recent winner starts sixth in the 46 car sponsored by Monaco Ford from Tolland, Connecticut, Brian Sullivan.
Seventh starter, car number 52 from Waterbury, Connecticut, the Pettit Racing Engine sponsored car for Anthony Farino.
And making her first start this year in car number 48 from West Springfield, Massachusetts, sponsored by Mayberry Material Handling, it's Alina Bryden. And welcome back, Alina.
Been a while since we have seen her. First time this season for Alina. Graduate of the Wild Thing Kart program on Monday nights. Has competed in the SK Light Modified the last several seasons here at the racetrack, but not full-time this season. Good to see her out there here tonight in car number 48. We'll start at the tail of this second qualifying event. That'll go green this time by with car number 34 for Dalton McCarthy leading the way over the 51. Matt Brewer, another one of those karting graduates as they come down to the stripe, looking for the green.
And a great start for Dalton McCarthy in that 34 car. He pulls ahead at the line over the two red machines of Bob Charland and Matt Brewer as they head to turn 1. Charland in that one takes second. They're 3 wide off of 2. It's going to be tight. Matt Brewer gets the run off the corner and holds on to third.
Here comes Charland looking to the inside of McCarthy for the race lead off of turn number 4. Charland looking to lead this circuit and will by less than a half a car length, and they're not done battling up front yet. Top 3 rows still stacked up double wide.
McCarthy and Charland bang Nerf bars going into turn 1, and my gosh, they're stacked up like it's a super speedway race. 2 by 2 by 2. Charland still has a bit of an advantage off of turn 4, but McCarthy's got the run up top.
Point leader Brian Sullivan nowhere to go. 3 rows back to the inside as he looks to advance his position, but the outside row maintaining pace. And the top 6 cars throw a blanket over them as they come off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 3. Inside lane will move up just a bit. Charlane to lead the way back to turn number 1.
Matt Brewer is pushing Dalton McCarthy on the outside lane coming off of turn 2 and turn 4, but McCarthy starts to falter. That allows Jason Chapman to move into second, while Brian Sullivan moves up to third. Chris Matthews looks underneath McCarthy now for 4th.
Here comes Matthews to the inside as McCarthy now begins to backslide in the outside lane in car number 34 as Brewer goes to the inside. They are nose to nose for that 5th spot now up the back straightaway. Alina Bryden in a battle with Anthony Farino further back just outside of the front 5 as the leaders come back off of turn number 4 and a bid for the lead.
Jason Chapman got underneath Charland coming off of 4. He's on the inside going into 1. It got a little close going into the corner, but Jason Chapman's car sticks really nicely on the bottom, ekes out ahead by about a wheel going into turn 3.
Great run into turn number 3 for the red number 44 to the inside. Jason Chapman goes to the point. Here's the race for second. Brian Sullivan to the inside of Bob Charland for the runner-up spot, just in front of Chris Matthews in 4th.
Bob Charland is stuck on the outside and slowly losing more ground. Now Matthews will try to fit that car in there. They get together in turn 3 a bit. Matthews saves it and still has an advantage for 3rd over Charland.
White flag is out. 1 lap to go here in this qualifying event. Chapman out front, car number 44. Here comes Sullivan to give it one more run up the back straightaway for the top spot.
They head through 3 and 4. Matthews and Charland touch. Charland goes around, spins it to the apron, while Jason Chapman takes the checkered flag. Brian Sullivan finishes 2nd. Chris Matthews 3rd. Matt Brewer 4th. And Dalton McCarthy rounds out the top 5.
A wild last lap there. We'll put Alina Bryden in the 6th spot. Anthony Farino 7th. And Bob Charland Gets that car corrected off of turn number 4 after the spin, and will finish in position number 8.
Ouch.
21 seconds behind the race leader.
There's no questioning the margin of victory there. That's a tough break for Charland, though. He was looking good, and he needs some good luck, too. He hasn't had many good breaks this year, especially over the last month and a half. Last week, he got caught up in a pileup coming off of 4 and finished outside the top 30. Not off to a good start here, outside the handicap, and he's going to start way back in the field.
And relatively short time to get to the front. 20 laps tonight in the main event for the SK Light Modifieds with a 32-car field. And like Bonza mentioned, he'll be back toward the back of the field when we go green. Heat race number 3 already coming out onto the Speedway. Car number 19 will lead the fields to green from Putnam, Connecticut. The HLC excavation entry for Chris Vians, our pole sitter.
Outside of the front row is the number 88 machine, a 3-time champion of the street stocks from Wethersfield, Connecticut, sponsored by JG Pool and Drywall. It's Frank Latwell Jr.
Third starter, car number 2 from Auburn, Massachusetts, the Propane Plus sponsored car for Megan Fuller.
The 76 car starts 4th. He's from Ellington, Connecticut, sponsored by Constantine Paving and Sealing. It's Ron Mitford Jr.
Fifth starter, car number 7 from Salem, Connecticut, always a front runner in this division, Darling Auto Parts, providing the sponsorship for Alex Pearl.
The Mad Pup starts 6th in car number 39, sponsored by Lasco Roofing and Sheet Metal. It's Danbury, Connecticut's George Bassett Jr.
7th starter, I can see the smile from here for the driver of car number 70, always excited to be out on the racetrack from East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, the Mayberry Material Handling sponsored car for Wade Gagner.
And rounding out the 8-car field is Bristol, Connecticut's 00 machine sponsored by Blue Moon Design. It's Todd Clark in the old coupe.
Field told to double up. Will go green next time by here for heat race number 3 for the SK Light Modifieds. Street stocks are up next. And then the SK Modifieds as we set the starting lineup for tonight's 10th annual NAPA SK5K. Biggest event of the year for the SK Modifieds. They'll go 80 laps here this evening for a huge purse, $30,000 plus on the line here tonight.
Let's see who gets the jump in the 3rd of 4 SK Light heat races as the green flag comes out. Chris Vians inside, Frank Latwell Jr. outside. Vians gets a good jump and a good push from Megan Fuller going into turn 1.
Vians to the top spot. Fuller looking to the inside for the race lead to the exit of turn 2, and she has a great run up the back straightaway just in front of Alex Pearl in 3rd in car number 7. Here comes Megan Fuller to the inside as they fan out 3 wide further back.
George Bassett Jr. forced his way underneath Mitford and Latwell, made it 3 wide, and he gets by both of them to move up to 4th as Megan Fuller takes the lead from Vians. Alex Pearl in the 7 now looks underneath the 19 car, trying to take 2nd spot.
Vians in the outside, Pearl to the bottom, 1 car length behind Meg Fuller, who paces the field off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 2. Vians in 2nd. Pearl back to the bottom in car number 7, just in front of George Bassett Jr., the big mover from a week ago, in position number 4 in car number 39.
Bassett went 37th to 4th in the 40-lapper last Friday night, which was phenomenal to witness. And he gets past Vians for 3rd as both cars got a little bit loose coming off of 4. That 39 car looks quick. Didn't take him long. 6th to 3rd in just 3 laps.
Ron Mitford rounds out the top 5. A distant 5th in car number 76. Frank Latwell, Wade Gagner, and Todd Clark round out the order as the field comes back off of turn number 4. Things tightening up front. Alex Pearl in the 2nd spot. Within 1 car length now of race leader Meg Fuller into the 2nd half of this 8-lap qualifying heat race.
I think Alex Pearl is starting to get a little hot. He's been figuring that car out over the last few weeks as he looks underneath Meg Fuller for the lead, pulls to the inside. They race wheel to wheel coming off of 4. Fuller gets the momentum on the outside for now, but they're still going to be side by side back in the 1.
Fuller strong in the outside lane. Pearl strong in the short way around on the bottom, and they are still deadlocked at the front of the field with Bassett looking on in 3rd as they come off of turn 4. It'll be 2 laps to go. At the stripe, it's going to be Megan Fuller with some high side momentum, maintaining the race lead.
That's the SK Lights at their best. On the inside line, Pearl's able to drive it in deep. But man, the outside line gets the momentum coming off the corner, and that's why these two are still deadlocked, wheel to wheel, for the third time around with 1 lap to go.
They say these cars are momentum race cars, and Megan certainly has the momentum in the outside lane and led that lap by about 1/10 of a second. Here's Pearl back to the inside, and he'll clear Meg Fuller this time up the back straightaway into turn 3, coming to the checkered.
Bassett drives it in deep into 3 underneath Fuller. They may have touched Nerf bars. Bassett trying to take second while Alex Pearl takes down the win in the heat. Bassett does claim the runner-up spot. Megan Fuller finishes third. Chris Vians gets the last spot in the handicap, while Ron Mitford Jr. rounds out the top 5.
Frank Latoile will finish in the 6th spot. Then it's Wade Gagner in 7th. And Todd Clark will round out the 8 cars that took the green flag in heat race number 3 for the SK Light Modifieds. 1 to go. Another 8 cars will go for 8 laps, and the top 4 will start the feature event via the handicap. Starting on the pole in this qualifier will be car number 87. They call him the mayor, from East Hartford, Connecticut. Metro Garage Door providing the sponsorship for Joey Farino, our pole sitter.
Starting second is the number 98 car. He's from Coventry, Connecticut, sponsored by Lincoln Tech, Norm Sears.
Third starter, car number 09 from Westbrook, Connecticut. The Foxwoods Resort Casino sponsored car for Cassandra Cole.
On the outside of row 2 is the number 15. She's from Colchester, Connecticut, sponsored by McKinney Construction, Amanda West.
Defending champion will go next in line from 5th, car number 18 from Griswold, Connecticut. The Pro Systems integration entry for Tyler Berry.
The 35 car starts 6th. He is sponsored by Tolland County Foundation Replacement. He's from Ashford, Connecticut. He is Josh Morrison.
7th starter, car number 55 from Summers, Connecticut. The Akari Motor Sales car for Paul Akari.
And rounding out the 8-car field is the 89 machine. He's from Berlin, Connecticut. He's sponsored by Alkis Motorsports. He's Tyler Alkis.
So that's the lineup. Will be another lap and a half or so before we go under the green flag in our 4th and final SK Light Modified qualifying event, coming off of their biggest race of the one of their biggest races of the year last Friday night in the Dunleavy's Modifieds night. 40-lap double the distance feature last week, back down this week to 20 laps in their normal distance. Brian Sullivan picking up the win last Friday night and extended his championship point lead to 58 over Alex Pearl coming into tonight's action.
It's very reminiscent of Brian Sullivan's championship campaign in 2020, where he's just been so consistent and has not found trouble yet. In 2020, he only won 1 time, but because of that consistency, it got him a championship. This year, more of the same, except he's won a lot more compared to 2020. 1 win that year, 4 wins this year.
There's still a couple of months of racing to go here this season as the field comes off of turn number 4. Joey Farino will lead the fields to the green flag in this final SK Light qualifier, with Sears to the outside, and then Cole and West in row 2.
Farino slides up the track, and that opens the door for Cassandra Cole in the 09 to go for the lead immediately, and she's got it. Cassandra Cole to lead. Tyler Berry now looks underneath Farino for second.
Tyler Berry, teammate to Cassandra Cole as they come off of turn number 4. Cole will lead lap number 1. Berry challenging to her inside. Then it's going to be Farino in that blue number 87. West in the 15. Battle for the lead. Up the back straightaway is side by side.
Cassandra Cole gave Berry plenty of room going to turn 1, and Berry took advantage as they continue to race wheel to wheel off of 4. Tyler Berry, who won a couple points races ago, takes over the top spot. Cassandra Cole falls back to second. Joey Farino third, and Amanda West has that last spot in the handicap.
Ooh, West, a little bit of contact there with Farino. She backed out of it, and Farino hangs on to position number 3. West in 4th. Sears to round out the top 5. Paul Akari, part of that lead pack as well in car number 55. Josh Morrison still finding his footing in these cars in his rookie season, rounding out the field in car 35.
Cassandra Cole is sticking with Tyler Berry, though. The gap is less than a car length down the back straightaway. Cassandra Cole probably having her best year yet, has 4 top 10s this year, has stayed out of trouble for the most part, which was her big struggle last season.
Running second right now to last year's champ, Tyler Berry. Cole, like you mentioned, a great season, top 10 in the championship standings. Second here, just past the halfway mark in her qualifying event. Farino looking for some good luck in car number 87. Could come tonight. It's been a tough 2023 campaign for that driver And Amanda West rounding out the 4 handicap positions right now in car number 15.
Well, Joey Farino does not have a single top 10 this year up to this point. This time last year he had a win, and that broke a long drought, but every week that 87 car there's something that happens to that car. Mechanically, getting caught up in an incident. Last Friday, he got caught up in an accident on the front stretch, fell a lap down. It's just been really tough for that 87 team, but Farino is not giving up.
Norm Sears fell off the pace a little bit ago. That car not at speed, lost a spot to Akari, about to lose a spot to Morrison in the orange number 98. As the white flag is out, 1 lap to go for our race leaders. It is Berry at the point, Cole in second, first and second, back to the corner, and a bit of a gap back to Farino in third as they hit the backstretch for the final time.
2 more turns to go for Tyler Berry, as he's been on a pretty good streak when it comes to point races. He won a couple weeks ago. He's getting more consistent. He wins the final heat race for the SK Light Modifieds. Cassandra Cole finishes second. Joey Farino third. Amanda West gets the final spot in the handicap, while Paula Carey rounds out the top 5.
Josh Morrison in sixth, then Norm Sears, who was off the pace the last couple of laps, maybe a mechanical issue on that orange number 98, finishing in position number 7. So the SK Light Modified field is set for their qualifying events
and Tyler Alkis did not make the heat.
He did not.
So issues for that 89 team, it sounds like.
At this point, we want to thank everybody for joining us online, our YouTube and Facebook live streams, to kind of preview the evening ahead here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Rest of our coverage will be exclusively on FloRacing from this point forward. So again, a big thanks to all those joining us on social media. Head on over for more action to FloRacing if you can't be here.